So the poll question that we had for you guys today is we're interested to see what type of program you're looking to study. So what are your graduate study ambitions? So we've given you some options here. So we're wondering if you're interested in an MA program, so a Master of Arts, an MSc, a Master of Science, an MBA, a Master of Business Administration, a doctorate program, or another type of master's program. So let's see what you guys are interested in. So the first question we have is someone is curious, just like Ian is, to know what the difference between an MBA is and a MSc is in management. So I think, Tammy, you might be able to help us out with this one.
Yeah, that's a common question. As they talked about earlier in the presentation, how an MBA is a professional degree and an MSc is an academic degree. An MSc in management is just that, an academic degree in management. It was designed as a bridge to PhD studies, so a majority of students who complete the MSc management program do carry on into PhD programs because they're looking for careers in academia and research. All the courses in the MSc management program are basically designed to teach you how to conduct research. So you're able to design, execute, and analyze the results of your very own research study and then write a thesis on your research study and your findings. So it's purely research-based. It's designed for students with undergraduate degrees in management, business, or commerce, and normally the undergraduate major matches the MSc management major because they're looking for students that have a strong foundational knowledge in that particular area to allow them to conduct the research.
That's a wonderful answer. So I'm just going to close up this poll. So we find here that 50% of you are looking at MSc degrees. And because you're allowed multiple options, this would explain why the percentages do not match up. But it seems like the majority of you are in the market, I would say, for an MSc degree as well as a PhD. I know I had a lot of friends in school that started with a master's, but their ambition and future plan was to carry that forward and end up with a PhD. So that's definitely interesting for us to know. We're just going to launch another poll question. So we're curious to know whether you're choosing it as a potential for making a career change, whether you're pursuing a career because it requires a professional degree, so it's part of your career ambitions that you need to go for this postgraduate study, whether you're seeking to get an advanced degree so you can keep your skills current. So oftentimes when you're working, it's nice to pad your academic career with a master's or a doctorate degree. Whether you're interested in working and researching opportunities to enhance your education. And then the final reason is whether it's for a higher earning potential for future employment. So while we get your thoughts on this poll, we have a question here from someone asking, when do you advise for an engineering student to go straight into a PhD and skip a master's program?
In order to skip the master's program, and this is in general, not just for engineering students, in order to skip the master's program and go straight into a PhD, it's very rare. You would need an extremely high academic average for one, and well, it's also conditional acceptance. It depends on the school and the program. That's the other thing as well, but it's not impossible, although it is quite rare to go straight into a PhD right after and skipping a master's.
I do know from my experience with my friends that for some of them they started with a master's program for 2 years and then they were able to continue that on into a PhD, so they didn't necessarily have to start again. Now I studied in the UK, so I'm not sure if the Canadian system is a little bit different, but basically what was the case with my friends was they did a 2 years master's program or an MPhil program, which then converted into a PhD, and they could complete that within 3 to 5 years, depending on how long it took them to do their final piece of work. But Tammy or Mario, I don't know if you guys have any advice or guidance on this question.
Yeah, you can do what you just described in terms of going to an MA and then transfer that into or walk right into a PhD. My experience from that, having been at a few different institutions, is that that is extremely rare. It's not that common to do because, as you had pointed out earlier, typically the MA is a precondition to acceptance into a PhD program. Now, Tammy may have some different insights on this, though.
Not particularly. Probably one of the other things besides a really good academic record is finding that supervisor that's willing to take you on without a master's degree first. Normally a master's degree is kind of like preparing you for the big step into a PhD program.
Yeah, and often a lot of master's programs do have coursework within the first year. If it's an academic degree, there's a lot of coursework within the first year of study, so you may need that as a foundation in order to prepare for a PhD program, yeah.
Perfect. So we're going to move over to the next section, which is finding the right advisor, which Mario will be presenting. I'm just going to close up the poll here. So we found that 55% of you are doing this just for working in research opportunities as a way to enhance your education and also for a higher earning potential for future employment, which is definitely interesting and I think a little bit different from the results we had yesterday. I think yesterday it was the higher earning potential won that one. So it's great to see that people are pursuing it just for their own academic ambitions as well as their professional.